चलिए हम लोग सेक्सुअल रिप्रोडक्शन इन फ्लावरिंग प्लांट्स में एक्सरसाइज क्वेश्चन मॉड्यूल का कर लेते हैं। फर्स्ट क्वेश्चन, सेलेक्ट द ऑड वन विद रिस्पेक्ट टू लाइफ स्पान। ऑप्शंस आर लाइफ spans of organism are not correlated with their size. Crows and parrot shows a wide difference in their life spans. It is the period between birth and natural death of an organism. Lifespan of a rice is 3 to 4 weeks. जी हाँ, odd one with respect to lifespan is lifespan of rice is 3 to 4 weeks. Question second, select the incorrect match. Asexual reproduction का मैच सोमैटोजेनिक रिप्रोडक्शन से, सेक्सुअल रिप्रोडक्शन फ्यूजन ऑफ गैमेट्स से, वेजिटेटिव प्रोपेगेशन का राइजोम से, क्लोन्स का मॉर्फोलॉजिकली सिमिलर बट जेनेटिकली डिसिमिलर से। जी हाँ, इनकरेक्ट मैच इज क्लोन्स मॉर्फोलॉजिकली सिमिलर बट जेनेटिकली डिसिमिलर है। क्वेश्चन थर्ड, सेलेक्ट द करेक्ट विद रिस्पेक्ट टू वेजिटेटिव प्रोपोग्यूल्स इन एंजियोस्पर्म्स। जी हाँ, बल्बिल ऑक्जेलिस करेक्ट मैच है। जी हाँ, बल्बिल ऑक्जेलिस का करेक्ट मैच है। क्वेश्चन फोर, द साइट ऑफ ओरिजिन ऑफ द न्यू प्लांटलेट्स इन पोटैटो, सुगरकेन एंड बनाना आर। जी हाँ, द साइट ऑफ ओरिजिन ऑफ द न्यू प्लांटलेट्स इन पोटैटो, सुगरकेन एंड बनाना आर नोड्स। जी हाँ, द साइट ऑफ ओरिजिन ऑफ द न्यू प्लांटलेट्स इन पोटैटो, सुगरकेन एंड बनाना आर नोड्स। क्वेश्चन फाइव, सेलेक्ट द करेक्ट स्टेटमेंट विद रिस्पेक्ट टू वेजिटेटिव रिप्रोडक्शन इन डहलिया। जी हाँ, adventitious birds present on root sprout to form a new plants statement right है with respect to vegetative reproduction in Dahlia। जी हाँ, correct statement with respect to vegetative reproduction in Dahlia is adventitious birds present on a root sprout to form new plant body। Question 6, select odd one with respect to sexual reproduction. Options are diverse organisms show great diversity in sexual mode of reproduction. Juvenile phase is called vegetative phase in plants. Offspring are not identical to parent. Fusion of gametes results in a formation of zygote. जी हाँ, odd one with respect to sexual reproduction is diverse organisms shows great diversity in sexual mode of reproduction. Question 7, select the plant species which flower only once in their lifetime, generally after 50 to 100 years, produce a large number of fruit and die. जी हाँ, bamboo is that plant of species which flower only once in their lifetime, generally after 50 to 100 years, produce large number of fruit and die. जी हाँ, bamboo is that plant of species which flower only once in their lifetime, generally after 50 to 100 years, produce large number of fruit and die. Question 8, find the correct match. जी हाँ, हैप्लॉइड पेरेंट माइटोगैमेट्स करेक्ट मैच है। जी हाँ, हैप्लॉइड पेरेंट माइटोगैमेट्स करेक्ट मैच है। क्वेश्चन 9 इन कारा मेल सेक्स ऑर्गन इज कॉल्ड एज। जी हाँ, इन कारा मेल सेक्स ऑर्गन इज कॉल्ड एज ग्लोब्यूल। जी हाँ, इन कारा मेल सेक्स ऑर्गन इज कॉल्ड एज ग्लोब्यूल। क्वेश्चन 10 इन मेजोरिटी ऑफ प्लांट्स फर्टिलाइजेशन इज। जी हाँ, इन मेजोरिटी ऑफ प्लांट्स फर्टिलाइजेशन इज internal and oogamous। जी हाँ, इन मेजोरिटी ऑफ प्लांट्स फर्टिलाइजेशन इज इंटरनल एंड oogamous। Question 11. The vital link that ensures continuity of a species between organisms of one generation and the next is। जी हाँ, the vital link that ensures continuity of a species between organisms of one generation and the next is zygote। जी हाँ, the vital link that ensures continuity of a species between organisms of one generation and the next is zygote। Question 12. A typical angiospermic anther is bilobed and tetragonal consisting of। जी हाँ, a typical angiospermic anther is bilobed and tetragonal consisting of four microsporangia। जी हाँ, a typical angiospermic anther is bilobed and tetragonal consisting of four microsporangia। Question 13. Select the odd one with respect to wall layers of microsporangium in flowering plants. Options are endothecium, middle layer, tapetum, integument। जी हाँ, odd one with respect to wall layers of microsporangium in flowering plants is integument। Question 14. Which of the following option about tapetum is correct? जी हाँ, tapetum is nutritive tissue, यह correct है। जी हाँ, tapetum is nutritive tissue, यह correct है। Question 15. Which of the following weeds has become a major cause of pollen allergy in India? जी हाँ, पार्थेनियम weeds has become a major cause of pollen allergy in India। जी हाँ, पार्थेनियम weed has become a major cause of pollen allergy in India। Question 16. Select the odd one out with respect to the pollen grains. Options are pollen grains are rich in nutrients. Its consumption increases the performance of athletes and race horses. It can be stored for years in liquid nitrogen. Pollen grains possess non-sticky covering called pollen kit। जी हाँ, odd one with respect to pollen grains is pollen grains possess non-sticky covering called pollen kit। Question 17. In most of the flowering plants, pollination takes place at dash dash sealed stage। जी हाँ, in most of the flowering plants, pollination takes place at two sealed stage। जी हाँ, in most of the flowering plants, pollination takes place at two sealed stage। Question 18. What is incorrect for generative cell? Options are floats in cytoplasm of vegetative cell, spindle shaped, has dense cytoplasm and a nucleus, having abundant food reserve. जी हाँ, incorrect for generative cell is having abundant food reserve. Question 19. Mature male gametophyte is? जी हाँ, mature male gametophyte is three-celled. जी हाँ, mature male gametophyte is three-celled. Question 20. The gynosium of Michaelia is? जी हाँ, the gynosium of Michaelia is multicarpellary apocarpus. जी हाँ, the gynosium of Michaelia is multicarpellary apocarpus. Question 21. Ovule found in 82% of angiosperm families is? जी हाँ, ovule found in 82% of angiosperm families is anatropus. जी हाँ, ovule found in 82% of angiosperm family is anatropus. Question 22. Which of the following pollination is common amongst abiotic agent? जी हाँ, एनिमोफिली pollination is common amongst abiotic agents. जी हाँ, एनिमोफिली pollination is common amongst abiotic agents. Question 23. In entomophily flower are? जी हाँ, in entomophily flowers are with sticky pollen grains. जी हाँ, in entomophily flowers are with sticky pollen grains. Question 24. In flowering plants, the generative cell of pollen grain divides mitotically to give rise to the? जी हाँ, in flowering plants, the generative cell of pollen grain divides mitotically to give rise to the two male gametes. जी हाँ, in flowering plants, the generative cell of pollen grains divides mitotically to give rise to the two male gametes. Question 25. Progamy is entry of a pollen tube into ovule through the? जी हाँ, प्रोगेमी इज एंट्री ऑफ pollen tube into ovule through the micropyle. जी हाँ, प्रोगेमी इज एंट्री ऑफ pollen tube into ovule through the micropyle. Question 26. The precautionary measures in artificial hybridization is? जी हाँ, the precautionary measures in artificial hybridization is both emasculation and bagging. जी हाँ, the precautionary measures in artificial hybridization is both emasculation and bagging. Question 27. Ascutalum is? जी हाँ, ascutalum is single cotyledon in monocots. जी हाँ, ascutalum is single cotyledon in monocots. Question 28. The remains of a second cotyledon occur in some grasses. It is called? जी हाँ, द remains of second cotyledon occurs in some grasses. It is called epiblast. जी हाँ, the remains of second cotyledon occur in some grasses. It is called epiblast. Question 29. Seeds of which plant were discovered during the archaeological excavation at King's Herod's Palace near the Dead Sea? जी हाँ, seeds of onyx plant were discovered during the archaeological excavation at King Herod's Palace near the Dead Sea. जी हाँ, phoenix plant were discovered during the archaeological excavation at King Herod Palace near the Dead Sea. Question 30. Recurrent agamospermy is seen in. जी हाँ, recurrent agamospermy is seen in both apple and pear. जी हाँ, recurrent agamospermy is seen in both apple and pear. Question 31. The portion of the embryonal axis above the level of cotyledons is. जी हाँ, the portion of the embryonal axis above the level of cotyledons is epicotyle. जी हाँ, the portion of the embryonal axis above the level of cotyledons is called epicotyle. First question. Special asexual reproductive structures are present in. जी हाँ, special asexual reproductive structures are present in kingdom fungi and simple plants such as alga. जी हाँ, special asexual reproductive structures are present in kingdom fungi and simple plants such as alga. क्वेश्चन सेकेंड. मैच दी फॉलोइंग. बताइए, पेनिसिलियम की मैचिंग किससे होगी. जी हाँ, पेनिसिलियम की मैचिंग कोनिडिया से होगी. जी हाँ, पेनिसिलियम की मैचिंग कोनिडिया से होगी. एगेव की मैचिंग किससे होगी. जी हाँ, एगेव की मैचिंग बॉलबिल से होगी. जी हाँ, एगेव की मैचिंग बॉलबिल से होगी. जिंजर की मैचिंग किससे होगी. जी हाँ, जिंजर की मैचिंग राइजोम से होगी. जी हाँ, जिंजर की मैचिंग राइजोम से होगी. कैलेमाइडोमोनास की मैचिंग किससे होगी. जी हाँ, कैलेमाइडोमोनास की मैचिंग जूएस्पोर से होगी. जी हाँ, कैलेमाइडोमोनास की मैचिंग जूएस्पोर से होगी. क्वेश्चन 3. द करेक्ट सीक्वेंस ऑफ इवेंट्स ऑफ सेक्सुअल रिप्रोडक्शन इज. जी हाँ, द करेक्ट सीक्वेंस ऑफ इवेंट्स of sexual reproduction is pre-fertilization, fertilization and post-fertilization events. जी हाँ, correct sequence of events of sexual reproduction is pre-fertilization, fertilization and post-fertilization events. Question 4. Which of the following are monoecious and dioecious respectively. जी हाँ, cucurbit flowering are monoecious and date palm are dioecious. जी हाँ, cucurbit flowering are monoecious and date palm are dioecious. Question 5. The term dash dash is used to describe a morphologically and genetically similar individual. जी हाँ, the term clone is used to describe a morphologically and genetically similar individual. जी हाँ, the term clone is used to describe morphologically and genetically similar individual. Question 6. Which of the following plant flowers repeatedly at intervals? जी हाँ, jackfruit is that plant which flowers repeatedly at intervals. जी हाँ, jackfruit is that plant which flowers repeatedly at intervals. Question 7. Read the following statements A and B carefully and choose the correct option. जी हाँ, both the statement A and B are correct, but B is not the correct explanation of A. Statement A मैं बोल देता हूँ. A large number of the male gametes as compared to female gametes are produced by algae, bryophytes and pteridophytes. B. Pollen grains are the carriers of male gametes. Question 8. Both male and female gametes are motile in. जी हाँ, both male and female gametes are motile in few fungi and algae. जी हाँ, both male and female gametes are motile in few fungi and algae. Question 9. Which of the following statement is correct for Kara? जी हाँ, correct for Kara is Oogonium and Antheridium oftenly develop on same plant. जी हाँ, in Kara, Oogonium and Antheridium oftenly develop on same plant. Question 10. Find out the correct statement. जी हाँ, A is correct statement. यानी कि gamete formation can be seen in a sexual reproduction. जी हाँ, gamete formation can be seen in a sexual reproduction. Question 11. Syngamy does not occur outside the body of the organism in. जी हाँ, syngamy does not occur outside the body of the organism in gymnosperm. जी हाँ, syngamy does not occur outside the body of the organism in gymnosperm. Question 12. Choose the correct option. जी हाँ, A, B, C are correct. Zygotes are universally diploid. जी हाँ, zygotes are universally diploid. Zygotes form embryos through mitosis. जी हाँ, zygotes form embryos through mitosis. Gametes are universally haploid. जी हाँ, gametes are universally haploid. Question 13. Pollen grains are the carrier of male gametes in. जी हाँ, pollen grains are the carrier of male gametes in angiosperms. जी हाँ, pollen grains are the carrier of male gametes in angiosperms. Question 14. In flowering plants, which of the following structure is present before fertilization? जी हाँ, in flowering plants, ovule is that structure which is present before fertilization. जी हाँ, in flowering plants, ovule is that structure which present before fertilization. 15. Heterogametes are found in. यहाँ heterogametes are found in volvox. जी हाँ, heterogametes are found in volvox. Question 16. China rose is. जी हाँ, चाइना रोज इज बाइसेक्सुअल एंड मोनोसियस. जी हाँ, चाइना रोज इज बाइसेक्सुअल एंड मोनोसियस. Question 17. If the chromosome number in a meiotically produced gamete of a plant is 10, then the ploidy level of that plant is. जी हाँ, if the chromosome number in a meiotically produced gamete of a plant is 10, then the ploidy level of that plant is 2n. Question 18. Male and female sex organs are present on separate plant bodies in all except. जी हाँ, male and female sex organs are present on separate plant bodies in all, that is papaya, date palm, markensia, except cucurbits. जी हाँ, male and female sex organs are present on separate plant bodies in all, that is papaya, date palm, markensia, except cucurbits. Question 19. Vital link between two successive generation in a diploid plant. जी हाँ, vital link between two successive generation in a diploid plant is always diploid, is single celled structure, is zygote. जी हाँ, vital link between two successive generation in a diploid plant is always diploid, is single celled structure, is zygote. Question 20. Arrange the following organisms in ascending order of their lifespan. जी हाँ, फ्रूट फ्लाई से ज़्यादा, पैरोट से ज़्यादा, बनियान ट्री से ज़्यादा, पीपल ट्री. जी हाँ, फ्रूट फ्लाई से ज़्यादा, पैरोट से ज़्यादा, बनियान ट्री से ज़्यादा, पीपल ट्री का लाइफ स्पान होता है. Question 21. The innermost layer of anther wall is. जी हाँ, the innermost layer of anther wall is tapetum and it nourishes the developing pollen grains. जी हाँ, the innermost layer of anther wall is tapetum and it nourishes the developing pollen grains. Question 22. Pollen grain of angiosperms represents. जी हाँ, pollen grain of angiosperms represent male gametophyte. जी हाँ, pollen grain of angiosperms represents male gametophyte. Question 23. Pollen grains are well preserved as fossils due to the presence of। जी हाँ, pollen grains are well preserved as fossils due to the presence of sporopollenin in the exine of pollen। जी हाँ, pollen grains are well preserved as fossils due to the process of sporopollenin in the exine of pollen। Question 24. Which of the following has been used in the form of tablets as food supplements? जी हाँ, pollen has been used in the form of tablets as a food supplement। जी हाँ, pollen has been used in the form of tablets as a food supplement। Question 25. Viability of pollen grains of wheat is about। जी हाँ, viability of pollen grains of wheat is about 30 minutes। जी हाँ, viability of pollen grains of wheat is about 30 minutes। Question 26. The layer of pollen grain which has germ pores is। जी हाँ, the layer of pollen grain which has germ pores is exine। जी हाँ, the layer in pollen grain which has germ pores is exine। Question 27. Which of the following condition is helpful for wind pollination of flowers? जी हाँ, well exposed stamens condition is helpful for wind pollination of flowers। जी हाँ, well exposed stamens is that condition which is helpful for wind pollination of flowers। Question 28. Which of the following structure guides the entry of pollen tube into the embryo sac? जी हाँ, filiform apparatus of synergid cells guides the entry of pollen tube into the embryo sac। जी हाँ, filiform apparatus of synergid cells guides the entry of pollen tube into the embryo sac। Question 29. Cleistogamy refers to the condition in which। जी हाँ, क्लिस्टोगैमी refers to the condition in which pollinators are not required। जी हाँ, क्लिस्टोगैमी refers to the condition in which pollinators are not required। Question 30. Majority of insect pollinated flowers are। जी हाँ, majority of insect pollinated flowers are large, colorful, fragrant and rich in nectar। जी हाँ, majority of insect pollinated flowers are large, colorful, fragrant and rich in nectar। Question 31. Which of the following pairs is not correctly matched? Ovule megasporangium, ovule megasporangium, filiform apparatus synergids, filiform apparatus synergids, largest cell of the embryo sac, central cell, largest cell of the embryo sac, central cell, and last Hippocarpus multicarpellary gynosium papaver। जी हाँ, not correctly matched is Apocarpus. Multicarpellary gynosium is papaver. Question 32. Read the given features of a plant A. On the basis of above features, identify the type of pollinating agent preferred by the plant A for pollination. The features of plant A is non-sticky pollen grains, well-exposed stamens, nectar absent, flowers are packed into inflorescence. These types of plant preferred pollinating agent as wind. Question 33. Choose the odd one statement for pollen grains. Options are: first, pollen grains of some species cause severe allergies. Second, can be used as food supplement. Third, can be stored at minus 196 degrees Celsius in liquid nitrogen. Fourth, have fascinating array of pattern and designs of pectocellulose on outer wall. जी हाँ, odd one statement for pollen grains is have a fascinating array of patterns and designs of pectocellulose on outer wall. Question 34. Persistent nucellus present in some seeds is called. जी हाँ, persistent nucellus present in some seeds is called perisperm. जी हाँ, persistent nucellus present in some seeds is called perisperm. Question 35. Most common type of embryo sac present in angiosperm is. जी हाँ, most common type of embryo sac present in angiosperm is monosporic, 8 nucleated and 7-celled. जी हाँ, most common type of embryo sac present in angiosperm is monosporic, 8 nucleated and 7-celled. Question 36. Persistent nucellus in the shades of black pepper is called. जी हाँ, persistent nucellus in the shades of black pepper is called perisperm. जी हाँ, persistent nucellus in the shades of black pepper is called perisperm. Question 37. Parthenocarpic fruits. जी हाँ, parthenocarpic fruits are seedless. जी हाँ, parthenocarpic fruits are seedless. Question 38. An aquatic plant which is pollinated by water is. जी हाँ, an aquatic plant which is pollinated by water is Zostera. जी हाँ, an aquatic plant which is pollinated by water is Zostera. Question 39. If there is only one PMC in a pollen sac, then the total number of male gametes produced by it is. जी हाँ, if there is only one PMC in a pollen sac, then the total number of male gametes produced by it is 8. जी हाँ, if there is only one PMC in a pollen sac, then the total number of male gametes produced by it is 8. Question 40. The event which is unique to angiosperm is? जी हाँ, fusion of male gamete with secondary nucleus is that event which is unique to angiosperm. जी हाँ, fusion of male gamete with secondary nucleus is that event which is unique to angiosperm. Question 41. The portion of the embryonal axis above the level of attachment of scutellum is called? जी हाँ, the portion of embryonal axis above the level of attachment of scutellum is called epicotyle. जी हाँ, the portion of embryonal axis above the level of attachment of scutellum is called epicotyle. Question 42. The cells of anther wall layer which nourishes the developing pollen grains is related to all the following features except? जी हाँ, the cells of anther wall layer which nourishes the developing pollen grains is related to all of the following features, that is dense cytoplasm, polyploidy, multinucleate except low DNA content. जी हाँ, the cells of anther wall layer which nourishes the developing pollen grains is related to all of the following features, that is dense cytoplasm, polyploidy, multinucleate except low DNA content. Question 43. Choose the odd one with respect to reward for insect in entomophily. Options are nectar, safe place for egg laying, pollen grains, fragrance. जी हाँ, odd one with respect to reward for insects in entomophily is fragrance. Question 44. If artificial hybridization is performed in maize, then which of the following steps will not be required? First option, selection of parents. Second, bagging. Third, rebagging. And fourth, emasculation. जी हाँ, if artificial hybridization is performed in maize, then emasculation step will not be required. Question 45. Endospermic dicotyledonous sheaths are present in? जी हाँ, एंडोस्पर्मिक डाइकोटिलेडनस sheaths are present in castor. जी हाँ, एंडोस्पर्मिक डाइकोटिलेडनस sheaths are present in castor. Section B. Objective type question. First question. Foliar buds can give rise to new plantlets in? जी हाँ, foliar buds can give rise to new plantlets in Bryophyllum begonia. जी हाँ, foliar buds can give rise to new plantlets in Bryophyllum begonia. Question second. Life cycle of banana tree resembles with rice plant in the presence of? जी हाँ, life cycle of banana tree resembles with rice plant in the presence of senescent phase and vegetative phase. जी हाँ, life cycle of banana tree resembles with rice plant in the presence of senescent phase and vegetative phase. Question third. Morphologically and genetically similar offspring cannot be obtained from option first rhizome, second corn, third stem cutting, and fourth fusion of gametes. जी हाँ, morphologically and genetically similar offspring cannot be obtained from fusion of gametes. जी हाँ, morphologically and genetically similar offspring cannot be obtained from fusion of gametes. Question 4. Given figure represents structures A and B of a given alga. Identify the structure. Question 5. Consider the following statements A, D, and choose the correct statements. यहाँ statement A and B correct है. Terror of Bengal reproduces vegetatively at a phenomenal rate by offset correct है और poloid level of a myocyte is 2n भी correct है. Question 6. Match the column 1 with column 2 and select the correct option. Question 7. Vegetative propagation is a type of asexual reproduction commonly seen in जी हाँ, vegetative propagation is a type of asexual reproduction commonly seen in plants. जी हाँ, vegetative propagation is a type of asexual reproduction commonly seen in plants. Question 8. Choose the odd one with respect to post-fertilization event in the life cycle of a plant. Options are first embryogeny, second fruit formation, third seed formation, fourth pollination. जी हाँ, odd one with respect to post-fertilization event in a life cycle of a plant is a pollination. Question 9. Which of the following set of plants are monoecious? जी हाँ, coconut, cucurbits, cara is that set of plants which are monoecious. जी हाँ, coconut, cucurbits, cara is that set of plants which are monoecious. जी हाँ, coconut, cucurbits, cara is that set of plants which are monoecious. Question 10. Which of the following post-fertilization event occur in a life cycle of the alga? जी हाँ, post-fertilization events occur in a life cycle of alga is zygote functions as meiocyte and secretion of a thick wall around zygote. जी हाँ, post-fertilization events occur in a life cycle of alga is zygote functions as meiocyte and secretion of a thick wall around zygote. Question 11. Sex organs or gametes in Kara are? जी हाँ, sex organs or gametes in Kara are male globule, female nucleus. जी हाँ, sex organs or gametes in Kara are male globule, female nucleus. Question 12. In eternal fertilization with isogamous sexual reproduction is seen in जी हाँ, internal fertilization with isogamous sexual reproduction is seen in Spirogyra. जी हाँ, internal fertilization with isogamous sexual reproduction is seen in Spirogyra. Question 13. New plant in sweet potato and potato arise from? जी हाँ, new plant in sweet potato and potato arises from adventitious and axillary bud. जी हाँ, new plant in sweet potato and potato arises from adventitious and axillary bud. Question 14. Vegetative reproduction from reproductive organs like modified floral buds is seen in? जी हाँ, vegetative reproduction from reproductive organs like modified floral buds is seen in agave. जी हाँ, vegetative reproduction from reproductive organs like modified floral buds is seen in agave. Question 15 is sexual reproduction. जी हाँ, a sexual reproduction leads to low adaptability to the changed environment. जी हाँ, a sexual reproduction leads to low adaptability to the changed environment. Question 16. There is a three phases in an organism's life cycle. The longest vegetative phase is seen in? जी हाँ, there are three phases in an organism's life cycle. The longest vegetative phase is seen in fucus. जी हाँ, there are three phases in an organism's life cycle. The longest vegetative phase is seen in fucus. Question 17. Which correct option with respect to male reproductive structure in Markensia? जी हाँ, Antheridium Antheridium, Antherizoid are the correct option with respect to male reproductive structure in Markensia. जी हाँ, Antheridium Antheridium, Antherizoid are the correct option with respect to male reproductive structure in Markensia. Question 18. Cell division itself is a mode of reproduction in? जी हाँ, cell division itself is a mode of reproduction in Saccharomyces. जी हाँ, cell division itself is a mode of reproduction in Saccharomyces. Question 19. Cara and Markensia are similar in presence of? जी हाँ, Cara and Markensia are similar in presence of jacketed gametensia. जी हाँ, Cara and Markensia are similar in presence of jacketed gametensia. Question 20. Choose the correct option for the given below statements. जी हाँ, ऑल बाइनियल प्लांट्स आर मोनोकार्पिक, यह करेक्ट है। जी हाँ, ऑल बाइनियल प्लांट्स आर मोनोकार्पिक करेक्ट है। ऑल एंजियोस्पर्म्स प्रोड्यूस नॉन मोटाइल गैमेट्स, यह भी करेक्ट है। जी हाँ, ऑल एंजियोस्पर्म्स प्रोड्यूस नॉन मोटाइल गैमेट, यह भी करेक्ट है। बाकी दोनों फॉल्स हैं। क्वेश्चन 21. लाइफ साइकिल ऑफ राइस इन्वॉल्व्स? जी हाँ, लाइफ साइकिल ऑफ राइस इन्वॉल्व्स वेजिटेटिव फेज, फ्लावरिंग फेज एंड सेनेसेंस फेज। जी हाँ, लाइफ साइकिल ऑफ राइस इन्वॉल्व्स वेजिटेटिव फेज, फ्लावरिंग फेज एंड senescence phase. Question 22. The anther in most angiosperms is जी हाँ, the anther in most angiosperms is tetragonal and diathecous. जी हाँ, the anther in most angiosperms is tetragonal and diathecous. Question 23. Outer layer of pollen grain wall. जी हाँ, outer layer of pollen grain wall is made of sporopollenin and exhibits various patterns. जी हाँ, outer layer of pollen grain wall is made of sporopollenin and exhibits various patterns. Question 24. Pollen banks. जी हाँ, pollen banks store pollen grains in liquid nitrogen and are source of pollen grains for various artificial plant breeding programs. जी हाँ, pollen banks store pollen grains in liquid nitrogen and are source of pollen grains for various artificial plant breeding programs. Question 25. Most common type of embryo sac shows. जी हाँ, most common type of embryo sac shows 3 plus 1 plus 3 arrangement of cells. जी हाँ, most common type of embryo sac shows 3 plus 1 plus 3 arrangement of cells. Question 26. Match the following. बताइए इसमें युक्का की मैचिंग किससे होगी? जी हाँ, युक्का की मैचिंग इनटोमोफिली से होगी। जी हाँ, युक्का की मैचिंग इनटोमोफिली से होगी। मेज की जी हाँ, मेज की मैचिंग एनिमोफिली से होगी। जी हाँ, मेज की मैचिंग एनिमोफिली से होगी। वेलिसनेरिया की जी हाँ, वेलिसनेरिया की मैचिंग हाइड्रोफिली से होगी। जी हाँ, वेलिसनेरिया की मैचिंग हाइड्रोफिली से होगी। पी की जी हाँ, पी की मैचिंग बर्ड पॉलिनेशन से होगी। जी हाँ, पी की मैचिंग बर्ड पॉलिनेशन से होगी। क्वेश्चन 27. चूज द odd one with respect to polyembryony. फर्स्ट ऑप्शन सिट्रस, सेकंड मैंगो, थर्ड opuntia, फोर कैस्टर। जी हाँ, odd one with respect to polyembryony is castor. Question 27. Select the odd one with respect to apomixis. Options. First, it mimics sexual reproduction. Genetic recombination occur. Common in Asteraceae and grasses. Retains hybrid characters indefinitely. जी हाँ, odd one is genetic recombination occur. Question 29. The innermost layer of anther wall in angiospermic plant is जी हाँ, the innermost layer of anther wall is angiospermic plant is tapetum which is ploidy. जी हाँ, the innermost layer of anther wall is angiospermic plant is tapetum, which is ploidy. Question 30. Microsporogenesis involves. जी हाँ, microsporogenesis involves formation of microspore tetrads by reductional division. जी हाँ, microsporogenesis involves formation of microspore tetrad by a reductional division. Question 31. Ploidy level of endosperm will be dash dash if cross made between hexaploidy female and diploid male plant. जी हाँ, ploidy level of endosperm will be 7 and if cross is made between hexaploidy female and diploid male plants. जी हाँ, ploidy level of endosperm will be 7 and if cross is made between hexaploidy female and diploid male plants. Question 32. Perisperm is. जी हाँ, पेरिस्पर्म इज डिप्लॉयड स्पोरोफाइटिक टिश्यू. जी हाँ, पेरिस्पर्म इज डिप्लॉयड स्पोरोफाइटिक टिश्यू. Question 33. Functionally cross pollination but genetically similar to autogamy is. जी हाँ, functionally cross pollination but genetically similar to autogamy is geitonogamy. जी हाँ, functionally cross pollination but genetically similar to autogamy is geitonogamy. Question 34. Choose the incorrect match. First, microsporophyll stamen. Second, embryo sac, female gametophyte. Third, pollen grain, male gametophyte. Four, ovary, called megasporangium. जी हाँ, incorrect match is ovary called megasporangium. Question 35. Endosperm of castor and maize are similar in. जी हाँ, इंडोस्पर्म ऑफ कैस्टर एंड मेज आर सिमिलर इन प्लोइडी लेवल. जी हाँ, इंडोस्पर्म ऑफ कैस्टर एंड मेज आर सिमिलर इन प्लोइडी लेवल. Question 36. The pollen tube usually enters the embryo sac. जी हाँ, the pollen tube usually enters the embryo sac through the degenerated synergid. जी हाँ, the pollen tube usually enters the embryo sac through the degenerated synergid. Question 37. Wheat and rice are members of grass family. How many of the given structures are common in these two monocot plants? Question 38. How many of the given structure in angiosperms possess two sets of chromosomes? Question 39. Gynosium of Michaelia and papaver is similar in being. जी हाँ, Gynosium of Michaelia and papaver is similar in being polycarpellary. जी हाँ, Gynosium of Michaelia and papaver is similar in being polycarpellary. Question 40. Flowers of which of the following plants should be pollinated within half an hour for successful seed formation after anther dehiscence? जी हाँ, flower of rice. Flowering plants should be pollinated within half an hour for successful seed formation after dehiscence. जी हाँ, flower of rice. Flowering plants should be pollinated within half an hour for successful seed formation after dehiscence. Question 41. Plant breeder has set up an experiment to perform artificial hybridization in maize. Which of the following step will he follow? जी हाँ, plant breeder has set up an experiment to perform artificial hybridization in maize. Bagging, dusting, rebagging steps will be follow. जी हाँ, plant breeder has set up an experiment to perform artificial hybridization in maize. Bagging, dusting, rebagging steps will be follow. Question 42. Endosperm cannot support the growth of embryo during seed germination in. जी हाँ, endosperm cannot support the growth of embryo during seed germination in P. जी हाँ, endosperm cannot support the growth of embryo during seed germination in P. Question 43. Seeds produced by hybrid varieties will maintain hybrid traits indefinitely if seeds are produced through dash methods. Question 44. Choose the correct option for A, B, and C. Question 45. Nucellus is dash dash, comma, dash dash, and forms dash dash. जी हाँ, nucellus is diploid, parenchymatous, and forms megasporangium. जी हाँ, nucellus is diploid, parenchymatous, and forms megasporangium. जी हाँ, nucellus is diploid, parenchymatous, and forms megasporangium. Question 46. In wind pollination, pollen grain reaching the right stigma is a hit or miss affair, so it is associated with reduction in. जी हाँ, in wind pollination, pollen grain reaching the right stigma is a hit or miss affair, so it is associated with reduction in pollen number, nectar, and flowers, यानी कि मेल फ्लावर्स. जी हाँ, in wind pollination, pollen grain reaching the right stigma is a hit or miss affair, so it is associated with reduction in pollen number, nectar, and flowers, यानी कि मेल flowers. Question 47. By looking into the ploidy of given structures, found the ploidy of male and female plant. Question 48. A plant produces a functional male and female gamete, but after the self-pollination, plant is unable to set seeds. This contrivance of cross-pollination is. जी हाँ, a plant produces functional male and female gamete, but after the self-pollination, plant is unable to set seeds. This contrivance of cross-pollination is genetically controlled, involves compatibility protein of pollen wall, and called self-incompatibility. Question 49. Find the correct option with respect to ploidy of structures marked as A, B, and C. Question 50. How many of the given are associated with apomixis? Question 50. Foliar hollow structure is present above plumule in. जी हाँ, foliar hollow structure is present above plumule in G. जी हाँ, foliar hollow structure is present above plumule in G.